Within just the past 24 hours, ever since President Trump and billionaire Elon Musk started going back and forth on Truth Social and X, there's been one question popping up over and over again. And honestly, it's something I've been asked a lot over the past month. What's the deal with that $5,000 Doge dividend check? Is this still something Americans can expect? Who qualifies for it? And how much could people actually receive? Well, in this video, we're going to break all of that down. We'll also talk about what's happening now that Elon Musk has stepped away from Washington and what seems to be a major fallout between him and President Trump. I'll go over everything in just a second. But before we dive in, it would really help if you took just 2 seconds to hit that like button. It means a lot and it helps me continue bringing you these updates every day. Let's get into it. So what's happening with these $5,000 Doge dividend checks? Let me explain, starting with this. Here's a brand new article that just dropped today. The headline reads, "What happened to the $5,000 stimulus check? Government's Doge plan faces a major setback." Now, what exactly is that setback? Well, there are a few pieces to this. First off, the article points out what Elon Musk's exit means for the Doge dividend. Remember, Musk was part of the Department of Government Efficiency. He had already said he'd only be in D.C., maybe once or twice a week, and now we're hearing that President Trump had actually wanted him out of Washington for a few weeks now. So, this wasn't some sudden decision. I'm sharing this because we've been hearing from multiple sources, including public statements from senators, that while they support a strong future for the country, they're not on board with massive spending cuts. One senator even said that the chances of getting anything from a Doge dividend are pretty slim. And not just because Musk left, but because of this reported rift between him and President Trump. President Trump recently said, "If the United States wants to save money, we need to eliminate all the subsidies and contracts Biden gave to Tesla." Musk responded by saying he wanted to distance himself from the federal government altogether. This is concerning because just recently, we heard that in order to start reducing the national debt, we could see some big policy changes, particularly around electric vehicles and solar energy. This could be a major shakeup. One senator made a good point. He said giving money back to taxpayers is a great idea, but not if it means pushing us further into deficit. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has been criticizing President Trump's major legislative effort, calling it an embarrassment. He says it undoes all the government efficiency measures he tried to implement, like cutting thousands of federal employees. While that did work for a while, the concern now is that the deficit could still be growing. That's reportedly one of the key reasons behind this political split. Trump, for his part, says Musk always knew that reversing Biden's policies would hurt Tesla, and when the final bill came out confirming it, well, that's when Musk bailed. So what does all of this have to do with the Doge dividend? Listen to this. Another senator came out and said he wouldn't support any bill that gave savings back to U.S. citizens. Why? Because now's not the time to risk the future of the country by increasing our debt. One Senate aide even said, "The days of Doge dividends are done. There's just too much pushback on President Trump's big bill, especially when it comes to the debt ceiling and ongoing deficit spending. Even the tax provisions in that bill might not survive, unless there are deeper cuts made. And President Trump doesn't want to be the one blamed for those cuts." Now, if you ask around, a lot of people feel Elon Musk was the real driver behind the federal cuts. Not Trump, not Congress. And that's exactly why there's been pushback against Tesla, SpaceX, and Musk in general. Many believe he's the reason thousands of federal workers lost their jobs. But let's not forget, it was President Trump who appointed him. Now here's the kicker. Doge didn't save nearly enough money. Their original goal? Save $2 trillion. That was later revised down to $1 trillion. So, how much have they actually saved? As of June 3, 2025, according to the Department of Government Efficiency's official website, doge.gov, savings. The total savings sit at just $180 billion. That's only 18% of their revised goal. And now that Elon Musk is no longer involved, progress might slow down even more. That's going to shift the weight back onto President Trump, and he does not want that. So are we getting a Doge dividend check? No. Even if it were something smaller, like $250, or even if every taxpayer got a share of the total savings, say $100 each, it's still extremely unlikely. So where might we actually see some form of stimulus from local governments, from cities, counties, and even private groups? That's where the real action is happening right now. Federal support? Unlikely. State-level help? Maybe in some cases. But most of the movement is at the local or private level. In fact, we're already seeing it. There are programs rolling out in New York, Chicago, and of course, California. These include things like tax rebates, property tax reductions, credits. That's the kind of stimulus people might actually benefit from in the near future. But a one-time $5,000 Doge dividend check? That's not happening. I wanted to clear that up because I know a lot of you have been asking. And yes, I did previously say it looked like it was coming. And honestly, all the early reports pointed in that direction. Democrats and Republicans seemed to agree it was a good idea. They couldn't just backtrack without facing political backlash, especially with elections around the corner. But with the midterms still over a year away, priorities are already shifting. Many Republicans now feel they won't be able to pass their full agenda before the election, so they're focusing on what can be done right now. And unfortunately, that means the Doge dividend idea is probably off the table. Again, I'd say the odds of anyone, anywhere, receiving any kind of Doge dividend, whether it's $5,000 or even just $5, are around 0.01%. So I'll leave you with that. If you've got any questions, whether it's about stimulus, the Doge dividend, or something else entirely, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll be reading and responding. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned for more updates.